drafting table, low rarity blueprints to create high rarity ones. That's the true, like, oh, this patch is one of the best Palworld patches, and it only gets better and more quality of life going into launch. Who cares about the global Palbox? New Palworld update from the GOAT developers, who have now introduced the global Palbox and a lot of other great changes. So let's get into it. Players can save the genetic data of pals, as well as reconstruct pals from save genetic data. Saved data can also be transferred to other worlds. However, more than one pal with the same data cannot be used in the same world, and then world settings can disallow for the reconstruction of pals. So, yeah, we have pal transfer, and that's it. We put it in, and there you go. So this is something that's unlocked at level 1. You just place it down your base, and that is the global Palbox. If data created with mods or improperly modified data is transferred, the game may crash. That is interesting. So yeah, we just put it in the box, and there we go. So now I'm going to build one in another world, and we're going to check it out. Alright, so there's our global Palbox, and I guess we just dropped in our Verdash, and it shows all of that. I was wondering if it was going to just, like, say, nah, you can't do it, because that's a Verdash with Pal Edit, so I can actually, like, test things and do builds and stuff. So now, I guess we can just pull them out and drop them into the world. So they found a really interesting way of going about this with the global Palbox. That's not like, oh, I extract it from one game and then trade it into another. It's like, no, you made this, so you can keep it in the save you made it in, and then you can just kind of drop that pal wherever. And then we can manage our global Palbox from here, and if we are full or we want to, like, change it, we just delete. And then it's just the genetic data that gets deleted, which makes me wonder, is it still in the world we transferred it to? Because it has a little genetic symbol. Nope. There he is, dat boy. But like I said, there's a lot of other great changes with this patch. It's just version 5.0, so it's a major update. Let's check it out. Crossplay. Crossplay available across all platforms, and that includes all platforms. That means you have all platform crossplay. So the new Mac update, that's all platforms. Just make sure everyone's clear. It's not like, oh, can I play with Xbox or my Mac? No, all platforms. And then we have store pal data and then transfer pals between worlds. When I heard about this, I was initially upset. And I'm still upset about it because my biggest problem with Pokemon is all the cheating. So how does Palworld deal with that? Like, how does any game deal with that? Because cheating is a huge problem for every game. And there's already been a massive amount of cheating and a lot of hacking problems with Palworld. That's usually something we see in every update. Took measures to reduce hacking or took measures to reduce cheating. Thanks for supporting Palworld. So with this, it's like, well, now you can just make Pal data in a single player save and then just drop it into a multiplayer world. Also, I wonder what that does for balance or like how mods or server settings are going to have to deal with this. Because you can change it in the server settings, but that means like on a new server, if that's just disabled, everyone comes in with their max level pals, and I guess it's just kind of like some weird competitive thing or a new ground to just automatically set up on. That's why I don't really like the idea, and it is done differently with like this global Palbox. Instead of your save, and then you can just drop your save around in new servers like Terraria or something. We're going to see how it plays out, and like competitive isn't fully fleshed out, and the game isn't fully out, and like server and world and multiplayer and all that is kind of weird, but like, okay, does Palworld get like future competitive? And then what does that mean? Because as you saw, there was a little disclaimer, hey, modified or correctly made pals can crash the game, but basic pal edit didn't. So you can just do that, but then we have the cheating in Pokemon problem where hacked Pokemon are indistinguishable from cheated Pokemon when they're hacked like perfectly and correctly. So you just drop it in, it's like, oh wow, yeah, I totally legitimately got this perfect Jet Dragon. It took many dozens of hours on my maxed out save file that I've been working on for several hundred hours. Breeding and IV grinding has a pretty dedicated player base inside of Palworld, and people are happy to do it, which is also why they're like, yo, if I'm going to spend the several hundred hours to like get all of these pals and like start Bella Noir raids or like blaze them up Ryu and all this higher end stuff, well, it really sucks if I have to start all over again. That's just hundreds of hours of work wasted. But then that also kind of like, okay, then what's the point of making a new world? where if you're just going to drop everything into the new world and be in the same spot. The only thing I can think of is if your friends were playing separately and you're finally like committing to playing a world together, or you get into a new friend group and everyone has their separate Palworld saves, so you don't have to remake everything. But then, like, most of the fun of doing multiplayer survival worlds is running it back and starting from scratch with your friends. So I mean, like, this seems unnecessary and doesn't make any sense, and just opens up like cheating problems. You can also disable it, but then like, okay, what's the point of not disabling it then? I don't know. And then it gets extra interesting with the whole cheating thing because Palworld has a EULA now. So flashbang warning. Acceptable use policy, where cheats, bots, hacks, or any other unauthorized third-party software is not allowed. Problem: what counts as unauthorized third-party software and usage? The rest of it is like pretty clear-cut and obvious, where yeah, you can't use any hacks or robots or crawlers or anything to scrape and extract information or data through the services. No DDoSing, no actually like injecting malicious code and viruses into other people's game through the server. And we see a lot of things in the patch notes where it's like remove cheating, reduced hacking exploits, or made a fix for some kind of cheating problem. So like that's obvious, and it also gets more extreme when like people do crazy server hacks and like multiplayer hacks. So what about using PalEdit for only single player? Does that now violate this EULA that suddenly exists? I don't know. And at least there's punishment, consequences. If you break this, either the service updates are stopped or your account is just closed and they can take appropriate action. So cool, now that people getting caught hacking and disrupting multiplayer servers, they can get severe punishment. Nice. But then, like I said, the other updates are absolute bangers. We have dimensional PAL storage, new storage system with 10 times the capacity of a regular Palbox, and guild members can access it. So huge collaborative effort right there. I like it. It can also be used as personal storage with private settings. So infinity PAL storage, cosmetic armor system, that's it. We finally have Transmog. You can wear the hat you want and not tank your stats. The game only gets better. This is awesome. And even better, drafting table, low rarity blueprints to create high rarity ones. That's the true, like, oh, this patch is one of the best Palworld patches, and it only gets better and more quality of life going into launch. Who cares about the global Palbox? And this has a really interesting effect of making the game easier, but adding longevity because there's less burnout. That's like, oh, well, now you just get the legendary blueprints and win the game for free. Except it's better than like, oh, I have to run the oil rig for the 30th time and hope I get the 2% blueprint drop because I haven't had it. Or the 1 in 1,000 chance of a legendary from a dungeon or a chest or something. So like the absurd rates are fixed, but also now you get that super legendary giga rare drop and the dopamine is huge, but you also don't feel bad if you miss it out. And if anything, it's like, oh wait, yeah, once the game gets its full release, that seems like the best time ever to just start from scratch and not bring in all of your old pals and stuff and just do like a completely fresh playthrough, because now even getting to like the end game is going to feel a lot better, where, oh, you have tons of low rarity blueprints, you just combine them into higher rarity ones. That's like one of the biggest problems with the game solved, but it's also not completely free, and you still have to like earn the lower tier stuff, you still have to put in work, and now you have like something new to achieve and aspire to create your ultimate PAL world. That's awesome. And then we have some adjustments that are also really cool for like building and stuff. Buildings can now be placed even if they overlap with a PAL. Oh, the amount of frustration I've had where pals won't move, and then I have to walk all the way back to my PAL box and then put pals away just to build the thing, just to put them back. Huge. It wasn't like, oh, this should have been fixed by now. Bro, the game is early access. This is like, it doesn't matter until the game is released and maybe a patch after. Then you can start complaining about what is and isn't in the game. But like now, quality of life. Game just got twice as good, just from one change right there in the middle of this random little patch. When connecting foundations, connected pieces now automatically align. Cool. Ice Pal and Flea Market causes item decay to slow down. That's just flavor. Added torches at the entrances of random dungeons for better visibility. Thank you. Like, the ones in Faybreak, the ones in Sakurajima, they are tricky to find. And I haven't even found all the locations in, like, this icy mountain area. So now it also means they're not completely impossible to find in the dark. And they're just more visible. Yes, dungeons needed visibility, especially with how they're just randomly in some places and spawn or aren't spawned in. You can now sit on chairs. Again, like, this is just a great change for the flavor of the game. Huge. Actually huge. Some weapons that dealt ultra high damage to trees no longer drop items upon destruction. That's actually like, well, that's kind of a stupid nerf for no reason. No, that's good flavor, where if you rocket launcher a tree, it should just disintegrate. I like that. That's just cool. Added new NPCs and improved NPC behavior during conversations. That's also just like nice things where like the game is getting fleshed out and feeling real. And sometimes, like, these new NPC additions, we get things like that doctor that change your pal's IVs or can greatly benefit, like, breeding and stuff. So I wonder if there's actually some crazy beneficial NPCs that might just pop up, or it's just flavor. Balance adjustments. Elemental chest drop dog coins. Another huge, amazing change, because there's, like, so many good rewards with dog coins, but farming them, ugh. Farming dog coins, sheesh. Like, that's kind of rough, but now more dog coins. Great. Small chance to get work suitability books. Excellent. So now everything is just a little better, and your grinding is rewarded instead of just, like, BS uninteractive stuff. Existing chests in current worlds will retain the old drop table. New ones will have the updated table. So once you clear those out, everything's good. Increased experience gain from defeating the attack chopper. That's more like next patch, level 70 in-game, I guess. Level 100 stuff, where you're farming attack choppers for crazy experience. Increase the DPS of flamethrowers. This is another significant one, where flamethrowers suck. Where it's like, wow, torching Lily and Lylene with a flamethrower, actually not even that great at all, because like the tick rate was too low. So I don't know if DPS was like tick rate increase or just damage. These things actually need to be broken. If you're getting in melee range, up and at them, and like you're using expensive fuel for this, it should actually just be a super broken weapon and have like more combat usage and stuff. So I'm going to see if those are crazy. Adjusted the default attack of electric and dark pals. I don't remember if these were the broken ones or the really bad auto attacks. Because like some of them are just really strong, where it's just like, you do a shot, you do a shot, you do a shot. And it's like almost a higher DPS spam just to have the default attack. But I think like the dark one used the dark ball, and maybe the electric one used the electric ball. So just like a slow moving hit that's even kind of weak. So just kind of making it to where it's a shot. This is a buff. That's really cool. It's a nerf, and they were busted before. Keeping everything in line and balanced, also good. I just don't know which. Some human NPCs now have work suitability. Finally! The actual human catching mechanics and stuff has meaning and actually functions. Summoning raid bosses can no longer damage other bases. That's kind of hilarious that you use that to grief people, but it's only a good thing. That kind of griefing is removed. Water attributes to Doomud. That's nice. I like that. NPC event rewards have been adjusted to maintain fairness. All NPC conversation logs have been reset, allowing players to claim rewards again. I don't even know all of these. Like, all these reward claims and dialogues and quests, and now they've been updated and adjusted, so... Okay, cool. Favorites now have groups, and holding the buttons with the Pal Soul Enhancement UI will now increase and decrease values. Yeah, that's actually really nice. Add a new sorting option for Palbox, suitability level. Cool. Achievements, and then some bug fixes. Fixed an issue where players could get launched into space while climbing. And there's also, like, building ones. So, yeah, just straight up, like, cheating exploits now fixed, where we have the hyper gliding that I didn't even know about. That's fixed. There was also apparently a dungeon chest dupe. Yeah, get rid of dupes and cheats. Really awesome. Fixed bug where bounty tokens with identical passives did not stack properly. Does that mean, like, if you had the ones like, oh, minor damage increase to Dragon Pals, and there's, like, 10 of those? Does that... Well, maybe not exactly 10, but there was a lot of them. So we actually weren't getting the stacking bonus, so it's just a straight buff to damage. Cool. Then we got some other minor bug fixes and other small changes. Thank you for your continued support of Palworld. So yeah, another incredible patch from the Palworld devs, and it's kind of like a sleeper patch because it's not a major content update, but it is like major feature updates, and this is version 5, or like 0.5. It's not 0.4.7. It's like, oh, this is just legit big update. And some of these changes are just the greatest thing ever. So there we go. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.